Good morning, friends. This is the first time you're catching one of my YouTube videos. My name is Tammy, and I'm a relatively new yoga teacher. Part of what got me into wanting to do yoga was the benefits I received from it once I got past the whole doing yoga for exercise or flexibility. So I decided I wanted to share that with as many people who were willing to listen to me, I guess. So in honor of that, I want to start a series on an introduction to the foundations of yoga. So that this is going to be the first class in that session. So throughout this series, we'll do a beginner's introduction. We'll cover some more breathing. If you've followed any of my videos over the past couple of weeks, you'll see I love the whole breathing component of it. We don't give our breathing enough credit in its role in controlling our emotions and helping us to just live with more ease in life. So we'll go through some of that. And yeah, the importance that yoga has in our daily life, it goes beyond the postures and the positions and the flexibility and the exercise part of it. There is a lot more that we can benefit from. So yeah, it wasn't until I went beyond that I truly began to benefit from those mindful practices and being able to distinguish between my perceptions and real life, between thoughts and reality, essentially. So yeah, this will be a long series. We're talking maybe, a series of 50 or 60 videos. As a new yoga teacher, it also gives me something to base my foundations of my teachings on. So this is what I have decided to base them on is my sharing of this with you. So let's do that. So I welcome you to the ancient science and practice of yoga. Before we begin, I want to mention a few things that will make your yoga experience the best that it can be. So for starters, it's best practiced in bare feet. So if that's accessible to you, if you're not already barefooted, take off your shoes or your socks and allow your feet to go naked for a bit. We do have receptors on the bottom of our feet. So by allowing them to just be naked, you can feel the earth underneath you and the energy that comes from the earth. And believe it or not, there is energy that comes from our earth that feeds our body. So yeah, we can help. Also, by being barefooted, it can really help improve our balance. And as we get, on in years, balance is going to be a huge aspect of your life, something that you're going to be grateful that you started really focusing on it at an earlier age. So try and do your practice on an empty stomach. You don't want to be full while you're doing your yoga practices, especially if you got a lot of twists and bends in there. Be aware of any of your pre-existing injuries, especially in our digital world. I can't be there to guide you with some physical touch and help you through that. So really just be aware of your own personal injuries. There are modifications for almost every single pose in yoga. You don't have to always press into the position that the teacher is showing you on the mat. You can stay at the previous position, take a child's pose, just sit in an easy pose and wait for the next transition. We're just there as guidance. We're not dictators. Okay, you do what works for you. So yoga philosophy asks that you let go of any competitive mindset that you bring to your practice. We can all be quite competitive, even with ourselves. We shift considering To remember that yoga is not just a workout, it's a spiritual practice that makes the body and mind stronger, more flexible, and generally healthier. And by spiritual practice, we don't always mean the worshiping of a deity or gods and goddesses, and that a spiritual practice, by definition, can honestly be whatever you want it to be. Just being able to move with your breath can be a spiritual practice. Being one with yourself, acknowledging self is a spiritual practice. Practicing yoga is a process. It's not about getting the poses picture perfect. This is not Instagram yoga. That's not what I'm going for. Although if you do follow me, I do like to post poses. So, disclaimer there. But that's not what these practices are going to be about. It's about being sensitive to your body and to hear your inner voice. So get out of your own way and let the practice be your guide. Yoga has been praised for its stress-reducing properties. It's been around for 2,500 years and longer. It isn't going anywhere. The process works. Essentially, the process works like to release the stress, to tighten up tension block. It blocks energy flow. In yoga, we use the postures and mindful breathing to open the constricted areas of the body of mind. That helps to release any trace tension. So, and as the body relaxes, the mind becomes calm and quiet. It's just how it works. The more tense we are, the more we're going to have running through our brain. So, and when the mind is quiet, negative feelings like anxiety and fear and anger, they melt. They lose their control over you. Suddenly, your thinking is more clear. There's just better decision making by acting instead of reacting. And that's a big one. Our actions over our reactions can have a huge impact. If that's not enough inspiration, consider that when the mind is open, it's available for achieving positive results, such as patience, acceptance, and compassion. Compassion for ourselves and for others. The one ground rule is that you stay within your physical limits. I did discuss this, especially in the Zoom world. You need to be responsible for you. So listen to your body. You know what it's telling you. Make decisions based on your body's messages, okay? So really be aware of that. At any point in time, if you do have a question, fire me off a message. I'll respond and let you know. If you just want to know about a modification, especially if it's a position that we tend to go into a lot, okay? And yes, I'll be happy to do that for you. So that being said, let's have some fun, okay? So first thing we're going to cover is diaphragmatic breathing, which is a breathing that is going to not only be beneficial during our practice, but also just in daily life, because I got some news for you. We breathe wrong. Most of the time, we're not breathing properly. So, and breathing properly is not just the foundation of yoga. It's actually the foundation of life itself, right? Like, think about it. The first thing you do when you're born, the last thing you do in life is breathe. You can live a few weeks without food. You can live a few days without water. You got mere minutes without breath. That's the significance that breath has. So that being said, let's learn how to breathe diaphragmatically. When we say diaphragmatically, it's really that space in between the rib cage. Actually, it's just above the rib cage. Okay, the diaphragm is just a muscle that assists in our breathing, which we won't get into all of that, but that's what we mean by diaphragmatic breathing. Okay. So I invite you to lie on your back with your feet 12 inches or hip width apart, and your arms at your sides and palms up. And I'll give you a moment to get into position. So take a moment to sweep away any random thoughts other than being here in your room. Leave your past and your future, and keep your attention here in the present moment, feeling your weight of your body on the ground. When other thoughts pop into your mind, push them away and focus on these two words. Just this. That's it. Just this. This is your time to look inward and take care of your well-being. In doing so, you'll become highly adept at handling life's challenges. Either close your eyes or just soften your gaze and focus on your breath. As you breathe through your nose, bring all your senses to your breathing. Notice if you're breathing a shallow or noisy breath. Is your inhalation the same duration as your exhalation? Maybe make your exhalation just a few seconds longer. Bring your focus to the space between your nostrils. Feel the coolness of the inhalation, the warmth of the exhalation. By focusing here, you'll start to turn inside. The idea is to slide into an awareness of the breath gently. No forcing, no pushing. Just remain present to the coming and going of breath. When the mind wanders off to work, family, or responsibilities, simply bring it back to the breath. Just this. Back to the breath. Just this. Now, make sure that you're breathing from the diaphragm, that space in between the ribs and belly. Firstly, soften the belly and consciously release any tension you might be holding there. Place your right hand on your abdomen and your left hand in the middle of your chest. If you're breathing diaphragmatically, your right hand will move up and down, and your left hand, as your abdomen naturally extends out on the inhalation and lowers on the exhalation. Your left hand should actually stay relatively still. If only your left hand is moving, you're breathing from the chest and getting about a third to half of the oxygen you get from diaphragmatic breathing. Think about your torso as a balloon filling up with air, light and energy from your belly on the inhalation. On the exhalation, releasing toxins and tensions from the pelvic floor to the crown of the head. Inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, belly deflates. It's okay if you're not getting it today. Just keep trying. It will come naturally. Breathe diaphragmatically through the nose throughout class today. Breathing through a posture will help you relax into it. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed and focused you become. Every every inhalation brings in fresh energy or life force, and every exhalation releases the tension within the muscles as well as the mind. Being sensitive to the whole body, breathing beings breathing brings sensations to the whole body. My brain, sorry. So today, throughout our practice, no striving, no forcing, just breathing and being, okay? So when you're ready, come onto your side and slowly bring yourself up into a seated position. Actually, come onto your knees. We're going to start today's practice in child's pose, okay? So slowly and very mindfully bring yourself up into your child's pose. So hands and knees, bring your hips, maybe bring your knees as wide as your mat. And bring your hips onto your heels. Walk your fingertips out, stretching your shoulders, stretching the hips here. Remember you're breathing in through your nose, out through your nose. Belly expands, belly softens. Maybe give your forehead a little massage here. Inhale, bring yourself up onto all fours. Bring your knees a little closer. Exhale, hips back to your heels. Inhale, up to all fours. Exhale, back to your heels. One more time. Inhale, up to all fours. Exhale, back to your heels, extending that exhale. Inhale, back to all fours. Again, engage the arms, roll the eyes of the elbows so they're forward. Active participants as we work our way into our cats and cows. Inhale, navel towards the mat, tail to the sky, chin and chest to the horizon. Exhale, curve the spine, chin to chest, tuck the tail under, navel to spine. Inhale, arch the spine, chin, chest to the horizon, maybe curl your toes here. Exhale, curve the spine, chin to chest, push through the arms. One more time. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale, bring yourself back to center. Curl your toes as we prepare for our downward facing dog. So inhale here. As you exhale, push your hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Again, and turn your biceps towards the front of your mat here, the eyes of your elbows towards the front. There you go. Maybe pedal out the heels. Stretch the knees. Good. You've done a fantastic job. Good. Inhale, raise your right leg up. Stack your hips, bringing that right foot towards the left side. Push evenly through both hands here. As you exhale, step your foot all the way up in between your hands, left knee to the mat. Find your balance. On your next inhale, bring your hands up overhead. squeeze your thighs together, making this an active low lunge. Good. On your exhale, sink your hips down. Gently nudge your tight areas with your breath. As you inhale, begin to walk your foot a little forward, straighten that front leg. As you exhale, come down into our half split. If you have your blocks handy here, maybe use your blocks. Maybe just have up on your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, just soften your chest towards your thighs. It's okay if the chest doesn't touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. On your next inhale, bend your knees, using your hands to push into the mat. Bring your foot back a tiny bit. Back into our low lunge. Curl your back toes. Step your right foot back to meet the left. Downward facing dog. Paddle it out. Inhale, left heel towards the sky. Bring the sole of that foot towards the right side, stacking the hips. Push through that right heel. Even pressure through both hands. Take a couple breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Belly rises, belly falls. On your next inhale, step your left foot all the way up. Lower that right knee. Low lunge. Take a moment here. Get repositioned. Inhale, hands overhead. As you exhale, just soften in. Take a few breaths here. Fantastic job. Now on your next inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, folding forward again. Maybe use your blocks to bring the floor up to you for our half split. Lengthen through the crown. Try and keep a straight spine here. Nothing but our natural curve. Nice. Keep breathing. Sensation is the body's language. What's your body telling you? On your next inhale, bend that left knee, hands to the mat. Find your way into your downward facing dog. A couple breaths here. When you're ready, step your feet up to your hands, finding our forward fold. Nice, generous bend in the knees. Maybe relax your chest right on your thighs here. Give our hamstrings some time to catch up. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins. Slight pressure just to help the extension from crown of the head to tailbone. Exhale, soften into the fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, raise on up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your hands to the sides for mountain pose, Tadasana. Kind of play around with your feet a little here. Become aware of the sensation of your feet on the ground. All those puffy little skin mounds there on your feet. Those little fatty mounds, you can feel them. There you go, roll onto them. Really feel yourself here. Bring your shoulder blades back. Open your chest. Excellent. In through the nose, belly expand. Exhale, belly comes back. Good. Inhale, hands overhead. It's okay if they don't touch. Exhale, bend the knees. If the shoulders aren't cooperating today or they're talking to you, just bring your hands down into prayer pose. Maybe some eagle arms if that's where you're at. Good. Inhale, lengthen through the shoulders here. Exhale, release your arms to the mat for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step it back into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward onto your forearms for dolphin. We're just doing a dolphin variation here. It's okay. You don't need to step your feet up, okay? If it's accessible to you, come back up on your hands. Maybe you got to come down to your knees. Bring yourself up to downward facing dog. Inhale, float forward. Lower down as you exhale. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale back up into downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel towards the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Take a couple breaths just here. Rest your chest on your thigh. Find your balance before we come into our warrior one. If you find your balance needs a little assistance today, maybe step your left foot so it's a little wider. Okay, when you're ready, on our next inhale, bring your hands up overhead and spin your left heel to the mat. That back foot on a nice 45 degrees here. Turn those pinkies towards each other, navel to spine, engage the core, press the thighs together. Okay, when you're here, if you find that your stance is too wide, just readjust. Listen to your body. Do what your body needs you to do, okay? Good. Your inner teacher holds the answers. Just listen to your inner teacher. Good. So we're here in warrior one. We're gonna work our way into a warrior three here. So to do this, you got a couple options, okay? You can come right on through, come up onto those back toes, coming up onto that right foot in a balance. We can just stay here, maybe have our toes holding with the majority of our pressure on our right foot. That's okay. Maybe you want to bring your back to your left toes just up a couple inches. Maybe you have a wall. You can use a wall. No one said you can't use a wall for your balance. That is totally up to you, okay? If you don't want to use a wall, we straighten that right leg. Maybe airplane arms. Find your balance here. Really feel what your right foot is, how it's connecting to the earth here. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat for half splits. I'm not doing Instagram half splits, so you'll see my leg barely just comes out at a 90 degree. I'm okay with that. That's how I roll. Couple breaths, good. Exhale as you float your left foot back down to the mat, keeping your hands on the ground to help you. Good. Just like that. Get yourself realigned. Inhale, hands overhead. Coming back into our warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left heel to the sky. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Find our warrior one on the other side. So make all those adjustments, whatever your body needs. Widen your stance if that's what you need for your balance. That's okay. Leave your chest on your thighs. You find what works for you. Ready? On our next inhale, we're going to bring our hands up again. Maybe prayer hands here. Maybe your shoulders don't want to go overhead. Keeping nice neutral hips. Become aware of your stance. Back foot is on a 45, pressing through that outer edge of the foot. Front leg, not exceeding 90 degrees here. Knee over ankle. I can see my big toe. We want to make sure that the knee doesn't splay in. Again, we can keep our hands here. We can bring them overhead. We can do eagle arms. Whatever you feel like you need today. We're going to take a couple breaths before we work our way into our warrior three, okay? Doing a fantastic job. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale, navel to spine. On your next inhale, find your way into your warrior three. Maybe come up on those back toes. Little bounce forward, little tigger bounce. It's okay. Resiliency. Might take a second. That's all right. Do what you need to do to find your balance. Listen to your body. Good. The airplane arms. The arms to our side. When you're ready, on your next exhale, bring your hands to your mat again. Maybe you want your blocks here for our half split. Our standing half splits even. Good. Let's work on that balance. And on your next exhale, step your right foot down to the mat. Bring it right up to your left foot, finding a forward fold here. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat. Step it back into plank. Exhale, lower down, bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog, raising the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, float forwards. We're going to bring our left hand over towards our right as we work on coming into a side plank. Roll on to the outer edge of your left foot. Now, we can stay here. Maybe bring your right foot onto the mat in front of your left thigh. Okay, for your side plank. There's all kinds of variations you can work with. Maybe both legs extended, but your right foot in front of your left. Maybe stack your feet on top of one another. Keep your hand on your hip. You can bring your hand overhead. Again, yoga is for everyone. There's variations everywhere. If it's accessible to you, on your next inhale, raise your right hip a little more towards the sky. Maybe if you do want a little bit of a challenge, holding it. Good. Maybe bring your right foot into a tree pose here, onto the inner left thigh. Okay, that's enough showing off. Exhale, lower the hand to the mat. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lower on down to your belly. Inhale, chest and chin up for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, float forward. You're right, we're going to do this on the other side now. So maybe bring your hand over towards your left a couple inches. As we spin onto the outer edge of the right foot onto our side. Inhale, bring your left arm up, fingertips to the sky. Exhale. Good, keep breathing. Again, maybe we want this variation. Okay, little added support here. That's all right. On your next inhale, raise your left hip on up towards the sky then. Exhale, bring your left hand to the mat. Turn onto your toes. Come down onto your knees. Walk your fingertips forward. Lower yourself onto your forearms for puppy pose. Forehead to the mat, maybe the chin. Really feel the stretch through the shoulders. Excellent. On your next inhale, float your torso forward, belly to the mat. Keep your forearms down. We're going to inhale, press through the tops of our feet. Maybe you'll feel your kneecaps rise here as we work into a Sphinx Pose. On your next inhale, maybe feel yourself pull through your forearms, bringing your chest forward towards the front of the room. Good. Exhale, lower your head down, stack your hands on top of one another, rest forehead on your hands in crocodile pose. As we come into our final Shavasana, you can take it right here in crocodile pose. Maybe bring yourself up into child's pose. Or if you want the more traditional Shavasana, just bring yourself onto your back. Feet hip-width apart, resting out to the sides. Hands to the side, palms facing up. Take whichever final resting position works for you. Just remember to keep your diaphragmatic breathing to awaken the body's relaxation response. Though it may take some training and a little more time, diaphragmatic breathing can offer the same cure for some of the body's ailments that today's world uses prescribed medications for. I hope you can take your practice with you today and your diaphragmatic breathing with you and find some peace and relaxation in your day. Thank you for joining me for this practice, and I look forward to our next one. Namaste.